What's up, everyone? Jeremy here from MTGHeadquarters.com, and I just got back from my local game store, Games Universe, with the new Duel deck, Speed versus Cunning. It costs $20, as you can see, and what do you get inside? So you get two 60-card decks, two deck boxes, two creature tokens, strategy insert, and a rules reference card. It's important to note that these decks are constructed to basically have entertaining games, fair matched games against each other. So I think there's a couple of there's a very specific target market for this product, which after we go through it, I'll talk about at the end of the video. People seem to really like hearing about the value and things like that. But let's read the back. Racing across the blazing steppe, the wave of attackers crests the barren hills. Nothing can stop their reckless advance. These warriors live fast, fight hard, and strike terror into the hearts of those in their path. The scarred countryside seems abandoned. Then, suddenly, hidden fighters spring from ambush. The overconfident enemy recoils in surprise, outflanked and outsmart. Who will prevail? The swift or the sly? So, Speed versus Cunning. So this Duel deck is a little different than some of the other ones that they've put out in that there's not a card or two in here that has like immediate value, like Jace versus Raska, or even to a more recent extent, the M15 Battle Pack. Wizards is certainly paying attention to the secondary market and their ability to reprint certain cards to drive the sales of these Duel decks, although I don't think they either paid as much attention to it or did as good of a job with Speed versus Cunning. I've looked at the matchup. These decks seem extremely well balanced. You've got Zurgo here, and you've got Arcanius here, or Arcanus. Both rocking. Get some early cons cards, which is always really cool. You get your reference rules guide, and then this is really helpful for newer players, people that want to understand how to play the decks. And so you've got your speed poster and explanation on one side, Cunning on the other. So you can read about that. Let's get right into. Let's start with Cunning. You've got Arcanus the Omnipotent. Really cool looking foil. They definitely have done a good job. People really like the new borders. Ooh, Lightning Angel. Very nice. So we'll get right into it. Again, there's no randomness to this deck. So the deck lists are available online. But let's just look at it anyway. Lightning Angel, we'll discuss the rares. 1 red, white, blue for 3/4 flying, vigilance, and haste. Very good. 1,000 wins, 5/6 flyer. Okay. Is that rare? Yeah. With a morph, when 10,000 wins is turned face up, return all other tapped creatures to their owner's hand. Okay, that's legit. Sphinx of Ithune. Looks like it's got some new art. Still a very expensive 5/6 flyer. We have Hold the Line. 1 and 2 white. Blocking creatures get +7/+7 till end of turn. Yowza. Now that's a trick. Steam Augury. We see reprint here. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Separate them into 2 piles. Opponent choose one of those piles. Put one in your hand and the other into the graveyard. Jeskai Elder. Okay. Fairy Imposters ×2. We've got Coral Trickster, Fathom Seer, Willbender, Spark Mage Apprentice. When enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So that can be kind of nice if you have a lot of 1 toughness creatures, like you do in the current meta. Limited meta. Lone Missionary, Master Decoy, Stonecloaker, Aquamorph Entity. Very cool. Husker Patrol, very good. So this is just all about just so many tricks. So many tricks. Flash creatures. Husker Patrol's Flash. Fairy Invaders, Flash. These are all Flash creatures and instant spells. Fleeting Distraction, meh. Pay 1 and draw a card. I guess that's really what matters there. Swift Justice. Impulse. Very cool art there. Iconic art for you. Mana Leak. Hey. We're into some sweet spells here. Lightning Helix. Beautiful card. 3 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 3 life. I love Lightning Helix, War Leaders Helix type deck. That'd be fun. Inferno Trap. So many like instant trap. Arrow the Volley Trap and Repeal is excellent. Return target non-land permanents with converted mana cost of X to its owner hand, draw a card. I guess it's okay. Then we've got our Wedgeland, Mystic Monastery. Beautiful art. Beautiful art. 2 of those. A Terramorphic Expanse. You can search your library for a basic land card, put on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. Matters when you're playing 3 colors. I mean, you need some fixing. I don't know if we even have mostly pretty even. It's your standard 3-color deck. You could help yourself with some more monasteries, probably. We've got now Speed, which is more my speed. Zergo Helmsmaster foil. We've got 2 and a red, white, and blue. For a 7/2 haster, it attacks each combat if able, and it's indestructible as long as it's your turn. Whenever a creature dealt damage by Zergo Helmsmaster dies this turn, put a 1/1 counter on him. Very, very good card. You definitely would be very happy to see that card at pre-release. It is extremely powerful. And now let's look at some of the rest of this deck. Whoa. Hell's Thunder. 3 mana for a 4/4 flying haste? Wait a minute. The beginning at the end says sacrifice it. Oh, okay. But then you have Unearth, too. Wow, that's a pretty sweet card. Swing in for 4, potentially. Basically get 4 damage out of it in 99 out of 100 scenarios, and then you can Unearth it for 5 later. So you can get 8 damage out of this card. That is very cool. Krinko Mob Boss. Very cool. 3/3 for 4. Reprint here. Tap, put a X 1/1 goblin creature tokens on battlefield. X is the number of goblins you control. That can get out of control. How about throwing a Rabble Master in this deck? Ogre Battle Driver. Very good. Fury of the Horde. You may exile 2 red cards from your hand rather than pay Fury of the Horde's mana cost. Untap all creatures that attack this turn. After the main phase, there is an additional combat phase, followed by an additional main phase. That might be kind of fun for a finisher. Like late game, you're stuck with like 2 lands in your hand. You draw that thing. Pretty awesome. Banefire deals X damage to target creature or player. If X is 5 or more, Banefire can't be countered by spells or abilities, and damage can't be prevented. Love it. Basically, if you're using this as a finisher, you're going to get to handle your business. I love that. You have a random goblin token in here. Frenzied Goblin. I love this deck already. You have Infantry Veteran to pump your creatures. Leon and Snarecaster to tap someone down. Dragon Escape Zombie. It's no surprise that I'm going to like the aggressive deck. And I've always loved goblins ever since Revised. We had to play with like Goblin King and just have so much fun. 3/1 Trampler for 2. Seems good. Haste to be better. Hellraiser Goblin. All right. Fleshbag Marauder. 3/1. When Fleshbag enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature. Nice. Goblin War Chief. Cathari Bomber. 2/2 flying. When it deals combat damage to a player, put 2 1/1 Goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield. Sacrifice Cathari Bomber. And it has Unearth. I love that ability. Shambling Remains. Mardu Heartpiercer. Beetleback Chief. Played with that card, Modern Masters, a little bit. Flamekin Zealot. Enters the battlefield. Creatures you control get 1/1 and gain haste until end of turn. The 1/1's the relevant part, right? But, I mean, I guess haste is okay too. Because now this can attack too. That is very powerful. So, like, basically, you're going to just be blindly swinging and hope you have tricks in your hand to overcome the other deck's tricks. Of, you know, flashing in a Husker Patrol on turn 4 is really going to stymie you in a lot of cases. Because these are all, like, 2/2, 3/3 type creatures. 2 toughness, 3 toughness. And 2 4s and 3 5s and things like that are going to shut you down. A lot of awesome end of the battlefield effects. Reckless Abandon. We've got a Shock. Bone Splinters. Arc Trail. Goblin Bombardment. Yeah, that could come in handy late game. Krenko's Command. Since you're putting out so many goblins, Active Treason will be real fun in this deck. Dauntless Onslaught seems really fun. Cannonade deals 2 damage to target creature or player and 3 damage to you. Okay. Seems fine. Fiery Fall, get rid of a creature. The 5 damage to the creature is clearly to deal with things like Husker Patrol and things like that that might be stymieing you. And then you've got your Evolving Winds. You've got your Gitu Encampment, where you can pay 1 in a red, and it becomes a 2/1 red warrior creature with first strike until the end of turn. And you've got your Nomad Outpost, another goblin token. It's weird that there'd be one like in the main deck. I can definitely see how this is a classic, you know, aggressive versus more control-y matchup. I think these decks are pretty balanced, honestly, and are going to lead to some pretty good games. As a final verdict, I think just like any time, so just like my opinion about any dual deck, okay? Newer player, great. Player that wants to have, if you're a newer player, $20 is a good value. You get 2 ready-to-play decks. You can learn the game. You can teach your friends a game. Sometimes people just like having dual deck battles, things like that. If you want to increase your collection, all good. Casual players, great. Hardcore players, obviously you're not buying dual decks. And value seekers. Now this is goes out to all of you value seekers out there. There isn't any cards in this deck worth more than $3, and there's only like 3 or 4 of them at the $3 price range. So unlike some previous dual decks, this isn't like you can go out and spend $20 and get, you know, $23 in value out of it. And then when you get down to the nitty gritty and you look at what cards are actually liquid in this set, you're looking at maybe open the box and get $5 to $10. So unless you're speccing on something and something changes drastically in price, but generally when something's printed in a dual deck, it doesn't go up in price. But if you want a little sample of how the new the Wedge Tribes roll, you want a little sample of cons beforehand, you want a little fun game. Sometimes it's fun to just, you know, even if you're a heavy standard or F&M player, sometimes it's fun to just play these decks and have a nice even matchup, because sometimes you just want a good game, you know. So many times on Moto, you know, I'm playing somebody in draft, and, you know, I get mana screwed game 1, they get mana screwed game 2, and game 3 is a blowout, and it's just so unfulfilling. Where the dual decks just provide a great way to keep them around and have a good match, and you know, they are what they are. So if you're a casual player looking to increase your collection, or there's just some cool foils you want, I think the dual decks is a great way to go. If you're looking for value, I think just grab the singles that you want in this case. So for you value people out there, maybe next deck. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't already, check out some of our most popular playlists from MTG vlogs, sick gameplay videos, new product breaks, and some insane vintage openings. I upload 3 to 4 new Magic the Gathering videos every week, so if you haven't already, please take a moment to crush that subscribe button to join one of the fastest growing Magic the Gathering channels on YouTube. Talk to you later.